Hi chaps, I thought I'd do a progress report on how the Elan's going. I know it's taken me rather a long time, but I'm not Winston. Here's the Elan, early 80s I reckon that was. I'm sure Andy can tell me as early as it could be. That BMW may give a clue as to how early it could possibly be. Anyway, that's how it was at the pod. A lifetime ago for some people, about half of mine. Anyway, the car as it is at the moment. You see it from here. It's coming along. I'm making the doors at the moment. So I'll give you an overall view of how it's looking. That's a better view. Almost done this side. Anyway, right, let's work from back to front. In fact, let's work from what's leaning against here. First thing, that's the centre console. It's part of the firewall. Oh, that's the parachute support bracket in carbon and steel. That's the front lower tray, also acts as a drip tray. That one sits below the diff and the rear suspension, and that's another under tray come drip tray that goes under the engine and the gearbox. A couple of those doing two jobs, which Colin would really love. Parachute support in carbon and with aluminium joints. Rear panel is carbon. The boot is carbon, weighs about 1.2 kilo. In here, fuel filler. Yeah, that's one of the lights. Tank is about 2.5 gallons, baffled. Down there we've got a Holly blue top lift pump, taking fuel into the swell pot, which then goes down to the pair of Bosch 044 pumps with a filter, and then off out up there. That's the compressor for the pneumatics, and that is the pneumatic air reservoir with homemade brackets. Quite pleased with those. Air regulator, parachute solenoid which connects to the parachute actuator there. Nitrous, well, you never know. It's been tubbed, carbon fibre obviously. The fuel system is on a carbon fibre panel. The boot is carbon fibre, boot floor rather. And you can see back there, the inboard dampers. They allow me to fit bigger wheels, hence the tubs. And also allows for the corner weighting, get it right in a minute, corner weighting at the back. I can adjust that on the push rod rather than messing around with the springs. Rear bumper's been moulded in. These flares have been on here for many years, but they need reshaping slightly here to tie in with the side splitter and skirt. Rear panel's carbon. This panel here, this is a firewall which is held on with magnets. A bit dusty back there, but you get a better view of the rear dampers. Roll cage is in T45, so it's a lot lighter. Been checked by MSA, they're happy with it. Apart from I've got to put a couple of bars across here. Get that sorted. Seats. There's the batteries in there. It has a cover, aluminium cover. Sits on there like that. A little bit cleaned up, but that goes onto there. All the electrics are under this cover, which is carbon, of course. That's the solid state fuse and relay box, life ECU, master cylinders up there. They open up into the cabin so I can fill them, check them. The exhaust had to come this way because there's no room under the car. It comes out the side here. It's covered by this thing down here, which has got the side skirt and splitter fixed to it. Bonnet is a one-piece flip. I needed to get air out of this engine bay. Trouble being that although I put a long vent along here, this is the high pressure area. So to get around that, we put a slight lip on here, which will be throwing the air up the screen, forming more of a vacuum under here. We hope a low pressure area, which will then allow the air to come out of here. Well, that's the theory anyway. As an aside, there's the mould for that vent. This vent here, this scoop here is letting hot air out, and it's in the low pressure area, so the air should come out here and the gurney will assist that. A couple of vents on the wings to help reduce the pressure under the wings. The wheels and tyres are just temporary, holding it up. Haven't got those yet, which is why the edge here is still sharp, not been finished yet. That'll be done when I get the right wheel combination, tyre combination on there. This thing here is what you probably know is an air curtain. We're playing around with that at the moment. That will allow air to be pushed around and down the side of the wheel, improving aerodynamics. That's the theory anyway. The bonnet opens up pretty easily. So, a couple of catches. And it just folds back to reveal all. Inside of the bonnet is a work in progress because it didn't do too well in the mould when it got heated. There was issues with that, but I'm dealing with that. Starting from the front of it, we got the airbox, which had a filter made by ITG to my design. Radiator, intercooler, lots of electrical stuff. Nitrous, direct injection into the intake ports using injectors I made, distributor block I made. Clever besom I am. These are heat shields. Well, they're made in carbon. They are lined with Zerkotech Zerkoflex 3. They're top of the range heat shield. Air intake comes from there under the radiator up and around and into the turbo. The cross-sectional area of that is identical all the way down the round and the rectangular part, same cross-sectional area, so the airflow isn't restricted. And in here there is a trumpet to help the air flow around here and get more air into the turbo. Top mounts, my design, they allow for camber and caster adjustment in situ. Not pleased with those. Header tank, an overflow tank. That's simply a drinking bottle. Aluminium, of course. Steering column, helicopter knuckle, and titanium shaft. More shields down there. Pedal box with the rear facing master cylinders, allow me to push the pedal box right back to give me half a chance of getting in the car. The roll cage ties into the chassis there, and also, as you can see, comes down here inside the front of the chassis. It's now quite rigid. Steering wheel has most of the controls you want to touch when you're actually driving, including fire suppression and parachute. This is the master cylinder access for filling up and viewing there. See lots of switches and things on there. The left hand twirly thing, that's to adjust the clutch slip so we can get a little bit of slip, hopefully. Actuator for the sequential gearbox, again designed, manufactured by myself, hopefully it will work. Hydraulic handbrake, which is legal on this make of car, although this didn't come with a release mechanism, which I need to be legal. So you might be able to see down in there, possibly you can, yes, yellow thing. It's a little actuator which works off the button on the front of the handbrake, so that now actually is totally legal. This car will be totally road legal, absolutely totally road legal. The splitter and side skirt on this side, more or less finished. Can I think of anything else? No, I think that's all I really want to tell you about. Bit dusty, but it works. We've got double firewall in this thing. It's carbon fibre. And oh yes, over here we have the seats. One is Riviere or Rivere, or how you want to pronounce that. Not a cheap seat, but that was donated by a good friend of mine in America. Weighs 2.5 kilo, so not too heavy. This is the passenger one. Not too bothered about passengers, so that is one I made. Weighs about 850 grams. So it's not exactly very heavy. That's the roof. Oh, gone out of focus. That's the Elan hardtop, which I'm going to use as the buck to make the mould, to make the carbon roof. A little bit of work going on there. That was my first attempt at lightening the door. Got carbon skin on it. Drilled it to death, 400 holes in that, and it weighs 3 kilos. The standard one weighs about 6. We're not too happy about that, hence me trying to make carbon ones. That's a work in progress. The parachute is actually sitting here at the moment. They shouldn't be left in their bags for very long. It should be out at least once a year to give them a kind of stretch. That's been in the bag for a few years. So, that's my walkabout for now. Hopefully we'll see some progress. Any questions, please ask. Bye for now.